When a pregnant woman is getting ready to have a baby, there are a lot of different signs and symptoms that lets you know that baby is right around the corner from being delivered. Well, there's plenty of signs right now. There's gathering clouds that there's a lot of changes coming to the RV industry and how we live in our RV, and we better be getting prepared right now. Details coming up on RV Street. Okay, right off the bat, my name is Martin. I'm with RV Street, and this video is not here to scare you, but I am doing this video to motivate you and encourage you to get prepared now. I just got through watching a video from the RV Odd Couple, and I must admit, John had made some pretty spot-on predictions on what he sees for the coming year. But I wanted to take one of the things that he mentioned and amplify it and kind of focus on that one subject, and that is taking care of your RV. You know how my videos in the past are always very protracted type of videos, step by step, blah, blah, blah. But in this video, I'm going to talk right from the heart because one of the things that John brought up about the problems that we're having about getting our RV fixed and getting appointments and blah, all that nonsense, that's what I want to focus on today. Most of us know that everything in our country right now is just getting crazier by the day, right? I mean, we don't know what the heck's going to be happening from day to day. And here we've got our RVs that we need to take care of, and that just adds another layer of things that we need to take care of. I don't know how many of you saw this, but on my YouTube homepage, I have a community tab. And on that community tab, about a month and a half ago, I posted a poll. I wanted you to participate in a poll. Let's take a look at that poll. The main question was, how many of you consider your RV is prepared for any emergency? 26% of you responded and said, very prepared. 52% said, somewhat prepared. And 22% haven't given it much thought. Now, these numbers are not here to shame anybody or make you feel guilty, but the numbers are clear. 1 out of 4 people who took this poll said, I think I'm pretty good for any emergency. That means 3 out of 4 are not. And some didn't even give it much thought at all. This video is pretty much going to focus on that 75%. Okay, those 3 out of 4 that are not prepared like they should be or don't give it much thought. I want to quickly just bring everybody up to snuff so that we're all on the same page as we're going through this teachable moment. We know that inflation is up practically in every area, which means labor and parts are up all over the board, right? Fuel prices are up, and they don't look like they're coming down anytime soon. There's more RV sales going on right now, we all know that, and that's going to create more crowded campgrounds and reservations and so on and so on. Getting into a dealer to get warranty work or service work is almost an impossibility. And RV service shops are the same way. Heck, these people can't even get parts. And their bays are jammed and we're like weeks or months out before you can get an appointment, okay? And let's not forget, we all know about the supply chain issues. Those of you who've been watching my channel, I have been preaching for 2 years about how important it is to have critical spare parts with you at all times. These are critical parts that you cannot do without. If something happens, you need to be able to have your hands on that part right now, or you're going to have serious problems. A lot of you have done that. You have been gathering and building your critical parts list and carrying those with you. But now you see why I've been pushing that message. But now with the supply chain, I mean, a lot of these parts, you can't even find them. And if you can find them, they're going to be more expensive. I could go on and on about all these problems that we all know exist, but that's not going to help anything. I just wanted to make sure that we all are on the same playing field and we understand where we are. The days of taking care of things like we used to are pretty much over. What do I mean by that? Well, let me give you a couple of examples. The other day, I went to Walmart to get my oil filter for the RV. This is something that I do all the time. I always carry a spare anyway, but I was going to use that one and I needed to replenish it. I went to Walmart to get, they've always carried this, right? I went to 3 different Walmarts, and none of them had an oil filter. This is a common oil filter. I ended up having to go to the dealer, the Ford dealer about 3 miles away, and they had to order it. And I had to wait 5 days to get the oil filter. I mean, just simple things like that. I've read many places online over the years where people say, yeah, well, I'm not carrying spare parts. When I need something, I'll run to the store and get it. Well, you know what? That may be coming to a screeching halt. I mean, you guys live in the same world I do. Another thing that we used to be able to do a couple, 3 years ago is when something happened to our RV, man, you called the dealer, you'd make an appointment. Yeah, come on in this Friday, we'll take care of it. Yeah, those are all gone. Service shops are months out. And the other day, here's another thing that just really kind of shocked me. I was in when Joni and I were coming down here to RGV, I saw a guy walk into the shower. I saw him come out of his RV and he had his bag and his towel. He's heading to the shower. Well, I was heading to the dumpster right alongside of him. And I asked him, I said, so do you use the shower facilities? And he said, yeah. And I said, why don't you use the one in your RV? He says, it hasn't worked. I've got a leak and it hasn't worked in a long time. So it's just easier for me to walk down here and use the campground facilities. Now, what happens like last winter when the shower facilities go down? He has to fix that shower, okay? That shower needs to be fixed. Our YouTube channel, RVstreet, this is what we do here. We teach how to take care of your RV, how to do upgrades, how to do maintenance, how to be proactive so things don't break in the first place. We have to be proactive. And today it's more important than ever to be able to become self-reliant and be able to do this stuff yourself. Because everyone that's watching this video, just about everyone, can do 80 to 90% of this stuff yourself. You know, as I was thinking about doing this video, I thought, you know, in my mind, there's 3 kinds of RVers. There's people like us who, this is their home. They live and travel all year round. Then there's the annual RVer. This is a person who lives in a campground or on a piece of land or something like that, and that's where they live year round. They don't travel, they're in a permanent location, but they still live in an RV. And then of course we have the recreational RVer, going for vacations and family outings and weekends and all that kind of stuff. And some of those folks may even be thinking about using their RV as a bug out vehicle in the event that, you know, all sorts of craziness breaks out. But the one thing we all have in common is that we all own an RV. And if you're going to be relying on your RV to live in, okay, this is where things really got to get serious now, in my opinion, on the gathering clouds that I'm seeing. What I'm suggesting is that you make sure right now that all your systems are in top working order. If there is anything in your RV that is not working right, you need to fix that now. I'm not talking about cosmetic stuff. I mean, I deal with cosmetic stuff too, but that's on the lower part of my list. If I've got something that's not working, that jumps right to the top of the list, and that's going to get fixed. All of your manuals. Right now, we are all so spoiled. If we want something, what do? We sit back, we get our phone, and boom, 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 we go online and find this and that. What if you don't have internet next week? What if the web goes down? What have you? You need to download all of your manuals for all of your systems and put them in a nice, neat folder where you have access to them in the event you need them in an emergency. Now, of course, once you get them downloaded, you need to read them. You need to know these systems. I want to give you a quick little story. I went online the other day and a guy posted a question in an RV forum. He said, I stopped at a rest stop, my wife and I did, to get a bite to eat. After we were through, we got back in the motorhome and we went to start it up and nothing. No click, no start, no nothing. I'm stuck. What do I do? I mean, I didn't tell you the whole entire post, but it was clear he had no idea where to even begin to troubleshoot on what in the heck is going on. So he posts a question on a forum. Heck, you do that, it may take you 2 or 3 days before you actually get any comments that have any meaning that can actually might help you. All of us need to have a good understanding on what if this happens, what are the procedures that I should be doing first to narrow down what it isn't so I'll know what it is. You can't rely on people in a pinch when you're in an emergency. You can't rely on the dealer. You can't rely on a service shop. You can't rely on a forum. You're going to have to rely on yourself. I remember my grandfather, and like many of you, you're brought up on a farm and all that. Heck, when something broke out in the field, you went out and fixed it. You just did whatever you had to do to get the tractor online, or fix the truck, or fix whatever it needed. You fixed it. You didn't get on the phone and call somebody. You went out and went in the garage and you fixed it. That's where we're getting to today. Now, like I said in the beginning, I tend to ramble on here. That's why I have notes, because I want to stay on message here. But we were talking about the what ifs. And I thought, I want to give you guys some things to think about, some what ifs. And as I read these to you, I'd like you to grade yourself. I mean, I don't know. A lot of you guys are a whole lot smarter than I am, but some of you aren't. Some of you are prepared, some are not. So I'm going to read some what if scenarios, and you grade yourself on how you think you rate on what you would do, and are you prepared to handle this situation? Okay, here we go. There's no city water to hook up to, so now you're dependent on your freshwater system to have water. Is your freshwater tank ready to go and you know it's safe to use and drink from? Do you have backup filters? If so, for how long? Okay, your water tank's okay. You go to turn on the pump and it doesn't come on. Do you know how to troubleshoot the different areas of why it won't come on? Do you know where the fuse is for your water pump? What if the pump goes out? What are you going to do? Number 2, what if? It's getting cold now. I mean, we're in winter, right? It's getting cold and you're needing to use the propane furnace. It won't come on. Or it comes on, but it doesn't blow warm air. Do you know what to do? Do you exercise it in the summer or wait until winter to start using it and then find out it doesn't work? Here's a good one. You're in a campground. You're plugged into shore power like you normally would, right? Suddenly, there's no shore power, and there won't be any power for several days. Then you find out it's not the campground's problem, it's a regional problem. There's no power anywhere for miles around you. What are you going to do for power for a long, sustained period of time? And for those of you who says, well, I'll just run my generator, okay? What happens when you run out of gas? The gas stations are closed. There's no electricity. Okay, here's a good one that I know you'll all be able to identify with. You know, in your house, when you go into the bathroom, right behind the toilet, you had that water line there, right? You could just reach down underneath behind the toilet, turn the water off. Well, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but your RV doesn't have one. I've never seen one. They plumb those water lines directly into the toilet. So you can't just reach behind the toilet and turn off the water line. So let's say you have a leak. All of a sudden you come home or the toilet begins to leak, it's overflowing, it's cracked, something's happening, and you need to fix the toilet. So you go outside and you immediately turn off the main water. You start tearing apart the toilet and you find out, oh yeah, I need parts too. So now you got to order parts. That's going to take several days to get the parts here. So until the parts come and you can fix the RV, you need to turn the water back on to be able to have water in the RV. How are you going to do that? How many of you know how many fuse boxes you have in your RV? Do you know where they are? Do you carry extra fuses? Here's another one. You're boondocking somewhere and you're depending on your generator for power. Suddenly the generator dies. It won't run, or it starts and runs for a little bit but then dies again. What are you going to do? Do you know the procedures to troubleshoot to find out what's going on? I mean, we could go on and on with all these subjects, right? I mean, just throw anything out at yourself and ask yourself, are you prepared? Are you knowledgeable in that area? If not, guess what? There's the area we need to focus on and learn right now. We need to get that under our belt so that we learn that and we know that and we're not intimidated or fearful to attack that and take care of that item. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is I totally understand a lot of you feel incompetent or fearful about tackling some of these things on your RV. I get that. I mean, some of us have been working on equipment and cars and motorcycles and all that stuff for years and years, and it's more intuitive to us. And we're not afraid to jump in. But you shouldn't be afraid to jump in either, because everything today is you're able to learn. You know, we live in an age now, you can learn anything you want. All you got to do is make it a priority. And that's the message I'm making today. You have to make taking care of your RV, learning how to do it, and making this a priority, that you are going to become self-reliant on taking care of it yourself. Because all of the support systems that are around us that we've been used to help take care of these things, they're crumbling, they're falling, they're in short supply, the prices are going up. And a lot of us, I mean, Joni and I, we live on a fixed income just like a lot of you do. We don't have a lot of extra money. Martin, he's the go-to guy. I take care of this stuff. And I just can't afford to go and take it to a shop and fork out $1,000, $1,500 for something. And I know many of you can't either. I'm going to give you a quick little analogy. You know, every year when we see hurricane season come, you get to all the weather folks out there, and they're pointing out there in the Gulf. Yeah, we got this hurricane coming. It's going to be disaster. And what do you see? Same old footage every single year, right? Box stores, people coming in there hauling out plywood like the truckloads, pallets of water, cases of batteries and flashlights. And I always look at that footage and I go, you don't wait until there's a hurricane out in the Gulf to get started and get prepared. Smart people get prepared before hurricane season. That's when you get prepared, not when there's one in the Gulf. I think you understand where I'm coming from. Now, you know I've been busy. I just did a video here a while back ago on how I am dealing with redundant power solutions. I have spent all year really looking at what I can do for Joni and I to make our power redundant, so I have multiple systems to rely on, and I'm just now putting the final touches on my Blue Eddy and solar system. And when I get that all done, I'm going to do a video on that so you kind of see the last final icing on the cake on my plan to be better prepared. On my YouTube channel, YouTube gives me some analytics, some metric data that I can look at behind all my videos. I don't see each individual person who they are watching and all that, but I do see some analytics on when they come and what they watch, and then I look at the comments, and I can tell from these analytics that people who come to our channel, to RVstreet, they come here, the majority of them, when they're having problems with their RV. Their AC doesn't work, or this doesn't work, and so they get on YouTube and they're trying to find a fix. Well, that's fine, but what I'm trying to do is encourage you to use YouTube as a school, as a learning instrument, not just to go chase fires, but to learn before a fire happens, right? To prevent a fire from happening. Now, there's a lot of good RV how-to channels out there besides mine, okay? I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here touting how great I am. There's a lot of good channels out there. And all of us that create content for you guys to watch, I mean, it takes a lot of work to do these things. And it's impossible for us to be able to cover every jot and tittle and detail in these videos. We try to be able to capture the highlights of them and the things that you need to know, because it's just impossible for one person to create an all-encompassing video so you know everything you need to know. I mean, every once in a while there's a subject like that. By gleaning and taking information from different sites, you're going to get a more rounded body of knowledge, so that when you address a particular project, you've been rehearsed, right? You saw the tools they use, you watched the different things they ran into, and you'll have confidence that you can do this too. I know I have a lot of newcomers that are watching me probably for the first time, so I'd like to just say a couple of words to you, a couple of quick little messages, and then at the end I'll give some closing comments for everybody. So I'd like to show you a couple of things. If you look right under the video that you're watching right now, you're going to see my logo. You see that? If you click that, that'll take you to my YouTube homepage. And on the homepage, you're going to see my playlist tab up at the top. If you click that, you're going to see every video I've created up to this point. Or as another option, from my home page or the playlist page or even the community tab, anywhere on my site, if you'll see that little magnifying glass off to the right, you see that? You can just click that and type what subject you're looking for. If I've done a video on that, it'll pop up. Not only do my videos show you how to fix things and the tools that I use and all that, but I have carefully put together all the things that we use and that you need in our Amazon store. And our Amazon store is
down there
in the description text. So many of the people that follow our channel use our Amazon store to get everything they need for their RV and everything else that they need too. And I just want to say thank you. And if I'm showing you something, that I'm working on something, you're like, oh man, I wonder what that tool is, or I wonder where he got that. It's in my Amazon store. Everything that I use and that you need is in my Amazon store. So check out that link. Another quick word that I've noticed on my analytics is people who subscribe. I know everybody asks, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, we subscribe. But did you click the bell off to the right and click all? Because if you click just subscribe, yeah, you're subscribed, but you'll never get notified the next time that person that you subscribe to uploads their video. So be sure when you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, click all. And that way we can all stay up to snuff together. So the urgency of this video is what? It's to be self-reliant. You remember my saying that you heard me a couple months ago? Everything is just fine, just the way it is. Until it's not. The message is not only become self-reliant, but again, you can do 80 to 90%. Most all of you can do 80 to 90% of the upgrades and maintenance items, especially maintenance, on your RV. But you have to start getting serious about it. And I'm encouraging you to put this banner on, that you're going to Martinize your RV every day, every week, every month. You need to make sure you have a well-rounded set of tools. That little old dinky basket thing that some of you got, man, that's not going to help you one iota in an emergency. You need to be able to have a good set of tools. Without the right kind of tools, you're not going to be able to fix much, and especially in an emergency. You need to make a critical spare parts list. This is your homework, okay? I want you to get a piece of paper and write down what you could not do without. What if this happened? What would I do? What is critical to me to have? That way you'll be better prepared for the things to come. You don't need to do everything right now. I'm not trying to incite panic here. You don't have to do everything right now. Just start where you are. Make a list of what you think needs to be prioritized, and then start down that list. Getting those things that you need, buying those parts, getting those tools, downloading your manuals, reading and learning something new every day or at least once a week. Learn something new. Crawl underneath the RV and see what kind of problems you can find, loose wires and stuff like that. Get that stuff fixed before it becomes a problem. One last word. I'm going to be making a really exciting announcement in my next video that I truly hope is going to help you guys accomplish all what we're talking about today. Okay? So be sure to look for that video coming out next. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. I hope this motivates you and encourages you to become more self-reliant. So until next time, this is RVstreet. Stick around.